Slide 1. Blockchain and the Global Ecosystem headline. The new infrastructure of trust, value, and intelligence. Visual ideas. A glowing network globe with connected nodes showing digital plus physical ecosystems. Overlay of currency symbols, smart contracts, renewable energy, and data streams. Subtle gradient background, dark light, symbolizing transition to a new era. Key talking points for presenter notes. Blockchain as infrastructure. It's not just cryptocurrency, it's the backbone of the next economy. Trustless systems. Removes need for middlemen. Trust is built into the code and math. Global ecosystem. Connects finance, energy, supply chains, healthcare, art, governance. Shift of power from centralized institutions, communities, networks, and smart protocols. Purpose of this presentation: explore blockchain's 65 layers, from technology to global impact and long-term sustainability. Closing line for slide 1. Blockchain is more than technology. It is a new ecosystem for human survival, cooperation, and growth. Slide 2. The rise of decentralization headline. From centralized control to distributed power. Visual ideas. Split screen. Old world, banks, corporations, governments versus new world, blockchains, nodes, DAOs, digital wallets. Animated arrows showing value and data flowing directly between people without middlemen. Timeline. Internet, social media, blockchain/Web3. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Centralized era. For centuries, economies relied on middlemen, banks, brokers, regulators. Trust gap. Traditional institutions create inefficiencies, corruption risks, and limited access. Rise of decentralization. Blockchain redistributes trust, letting individuals transact, verify, and govern directly. Global shift. Billions are gaining financial and digital access through decentralized tools. Core idea. Blockchain is the infrastructure of empowerment. It brings efficiency, inclusion, and transparency at scale. Closing line for slide 2. Decentralization isn't just a trend. It's the next operating system for society. Slide 3. Why blockchain matters today headline. Solving 21st century trust and transparency challenges. Visual ideas. A world map overlay with glowing blockchain nodes connecting continents. Icons. Currency supply chain box, voting ballot, medical record, renewable energy symbol. Infographic showing problems, blockchain solutions. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Trust crisis. Institutions face low public confidence, finance, politics, media. Global inequality. Billions remain unbanked, underserved, or excluded. Data explosion. Rising need for secure, verifiable, real-time systems. Blockchain's role. Ensures transparency, immutable records. Cuts costs, peer-to-peer exchange. Increases access, financial inclusion. Enhances security, cryptographic proof. Current momentum, trillions in assets, millions of daily users, governments exploring CBDCs. Closing line for slide 3. Blockchain matters because it addresses the fundamental problems of our age: trust, access, and transparency. Slide 4. Core principles of blockchain headline. Trustless, transparent, immutable. Visual ideas. A triangle diagram with each word on a corner. Trustless, transparent, immutable. Underneath, icons. Handshake replaced by code, trustless. Glass window, transparent. Stone tablet or lock, immutable. Animated flow. Data enters, secured, shared openly, never altered. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Trustless. No need for intermediaries, banks, brokers, notaries. Transactions validated by math, not by human promises. Transparent. All records are visible to participants. Open source code and auditable ledgers reduce corruption and hidden manipulation. Immutable. Once recorded, data cannot be altered or deleted. Ensures historical accuracy, security, and accountability. These 3 principles create the foundation for all blockchain applications, from finance to healthcare to governance. Closing line for slide 4. Blockchain builds a foundation of trust without requiring trust in any single person or institution. Slide 5. Evolution of technology. Internet Web 3 headline. From information age to the value age. Visual ideas. A three-stage timeline. Web 1, 1990s static internet, read-only websites. Web 2, 2000s, 2020s social media and platforms, read and write. Web 3, now and future blockchain, AI, decentralization, read, write, own. Icons, computer, Web 1. Smartphone plus social icons, Web 2. Wallet plus blockchain nodes, Web 3. Arrows showing increasing user empowerment. Key talking points, presenter notes. Web 1. The dawn of digital communication, information access, but limited interaction. Web 2. Platforms like Facebook, Google, Amazon centralize the internet. Users create data, but corporations capture value. Web 3. Shifts power back to users. Ownership of data, assets, and identity. Peer-to-peer exchange without middlemen. Native digital economies powered by tokens. Big picture. Blockchain transforms the internet from an information network into a value network. Closing line for slide 5. Web 3 is not just a new internet. It's a new economy where users are owners. Slide 6. What is a blockchain? Headline. A digital ledger that everyone can trust. Visual ideas. Diagram of a chain of blocks, each containing transactions, hash, timestamp, previous block link. Highlight. Linked, secured, shared. Animation concept. New block added to the chain after verification. Key talking points, presenter notes. Definition. Blockchain is a distributed digital ledger that records transactions across a network of computers. Structure. Data stored in blocks, linked together chronologically, forming a permanent chain. Key feature. No single party controls the ledger. It's replicated across all participants, nodes. Trust mechanism. Transactions are validated by consensus before being added. Why it matters. This design ensures security, transparency, and resilience against tampering. Closing line for slide 6. At its core, blockchain is just a ledger, but one designed for a world that can't afford to be hacked or manipulated. Slide 7. Public versus private blockchains headline. Open networks versus permission systems. Visual ideas. Side-by-side comparison chart with 2 columns. Public blockchain, e.g., Bitcoin, Ethereum. Private blockchain, e.g., Hyperledger, Corda. Icons. Unlocked globe versus closed shield. Visual spectrum. From fully open, hybrid, fully closed. Key talking points, presenter notes. Public blockchains. Open to anyone, no permission needed. Fully decentralized and transparent. Examples. Bitcoin, Ethereum. Strength, security, openness, global trust. Private blockchains. Access restricted to selected participants. Controlled by a company, consortium, or government. Examples. Hyperledger Fabric, Corda. Strength, speed, privacy, regulatory compliance. Hybrid/consortium models. Balance openness with enterprise control. Key insight. Both have roles. Public chains excel at openness. Private chains excel at efficiency. Closing line for slide 7. The future will blend public transparency with private control, creating hybrid ecosystems. Slide 8. Consensus mechanisms, overview headline. How networks agree without central authority. Visual ideas. Graphic of multiple nodes, computers, voting to approve a transaction. Flow chart. Transaction proposed, consensus reached, block added. Icons for popular mechanisms. High voltage proof of work, seedling proof of stake, shield, Byzantine fault tolerance. Key talking points, presenter notes. Purpose. Consensus mechanisms ensure all participants agree on the state of the ledger, even without trust. Core idea. Prevents fraud, double spending, and manipulation. Types of consensus. Proof of work, POW. Security via computational effort, Bitcoin. Proof of stake, POS. Validated stake tokens to secure network, Ethereum 2.0, Cardano. Other models: delegated POS, proof of authority, Byzantine fault tolerance, hybrid systems. Trade-offs. POW equals secure, but energy-heavy. POS equals energy-efficient, but reliant on wealth distribution. Insight. Consensus is the governance engine that makes blockchain decentralized yet reliable. Closing line for slide 8. Consensus is the heartbeat of blockchain. It keeps the system fair, secure, and alive. Slide 9. Proof of work versus proof of stake headline. Two paths to securing the blockchain. Visual ideas. Split screen diagram. Proof of work. POW miners, computers solving puzzles, electricity icons. Proof of stake. POS validators staking coins, shield symbol, energy light design. Comparison chart. Speed, energy, cost, decentralization. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Proof of work. POW. Introduced by Bitcoin. Miners compete to solve cryptographic puzzles. Highly secure, but energy-intensive and slower. Example: Bitcoin, early Ethereum. Proof of stake, POS. Validators stake tokens to be chosen to confirm transactions. Energy efficient and faster than POW. Rewards come from staking yield, not mining. Example: Ethereum 2.0, Cardano, Solana. Trade-offs. POW equals most battle-tested security, but environmentally costly. POS equals scalable and sustainable, but may favor wealthy participants. Trend. Majority of new blockchains are adopting POS or hybrid models. Closing line for slide 9. POW built the foundation. POS is paving the road ahead for scalable blockchain ecosystems. Slide 10. Other consensus models headline. Beyond POW and POS, specialized approaches. Visual ideas. Infographic with 4 blocks, each showing a different model. Deeper S, delegated proof of stake, voting ballot icon. POA, proof of authority, gavel or ID badge icon. BFT, Byzantine fault tolerance, shield with multiple arrows. Hybrid models, chain linking different icons. World map showing how different blockchains adopt different systems. Key talking points, presenter notes. Delegated proof of stake, deep S. Token holders elect a small number of validators. Faster and efficient, but less decentralized. Example: EOS, Tron. Proof of authority, POA. Validators chosen based on reputation/identity. Useful for enterprise/private blockchains. Example: VE chain, some supply chain networks. Byzantine fault tolerance, BFT. Consensus reached even with some malicious/failed nodes. Great for speed and reliability in smaller networks. Example: Hyperledger Fabric, Tendermint, Cosmos. Hybrid models. Combine strengths of different systems for balance. Example: Ethereum Layer 2 rollups, Avalanche subnets. Closing line for slide 10. Consensus isn't one size fits all. Each model serves a unique role in the blockchain ecosystem. Slide 11. Smart contracts explained headline. Code that executes trust automatically. Visual ideas. Illustration of a digital contract document turning into lines of code. Flow diagram. If condition met, contract auto-executes, value transferred. Icon set. Handshake replaced by smart contract. Key talking points, presenter notes. Definition: smart contracts are self-executing code stored on the blockchain. Core function: they automatically carry out agreements when conditions are met. Trust advantage: no middlemen, no delays, no human bias, just code enforcing rules. Examples: sending funds when goods arrive. Automated royalty payments for artists. Decentralized apps, DeFi lending, NFT marketplaces. Security node: code is transparent but vulnerable if poorly written. Code is law. Big idea: smart contracts are the engine of Web3 applications, powering DAOs, DeFi, and beyond. Closing line for slide 11. Smart contracts replace lawyers, bankers, and brokers with lines of code that never break their promises. Slide 12. Token standards headline. The building blocks of digital assets. Visual ideas. 3 token cards side by side. ERC, 20, coins, fungible, identical units. ERC 721. NFTs, unique digital collectibles. ERC 1155. Hybrid, fungible plus non-fungible. Visual metaphor. Currency stack versus collectible art versus mixed bundle. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Why standards matter. They ensure compatibility across wallets, exchanges, and apps. Developers can build on shared frameworks, accelerating innovation. ERC 20 fungible tokens. All units identical, like dollars or Bitcoin. Used for currencies, governance tokens defy assets. ERC 721 non-fungible tokens NFTs. Each token is unique, cannot be replaced one for one. Used for art, collectibles, real estate deeds, identity. ERC 1155 multi-asset standard. Allows both fungible and non-fungible tokens in one contract. Used for gaming, metaverse economies, mixed asset systems. Big picture, token standards make blockchains interoperable ecosystems, not isolated chains. Closing line for slide 12. Token standards are the digital DNA that allow assets, apps, and economies to thrive on blockchain. Slide 13. Oracles and off-chain data headline. Connecting blockchains to reality. Visual ideas. Graphic of a smart contract connected to outside sources. Weather, stock prices, shipping data, IoT devices. Symbol of a bridge or gateway feeding data into the blockchain. Example, price feed powering a DeFi app. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem. Blockchains are closed systems. They can't access outside information directly. Solution. Oracles act as bridges, feeding off-chain data into smart contracts. Types of oracles. Price oracles, crypto/fiat exchange rates. Weather data, for crop insurance. Supply chain IoT sensors for logistics. Identity verification oracles for compliance. Use cases. DeFi lending rates set by live market prices. Insurance payouts triggered by verified events. Automated settlements in global trade. Risks. If an oracle is compromised, the blockchain outcome can be manipulated. Oracle problem. Future. Decentralized oracles, e.g., Chainlink, band protocol, are reducing trust risks. Closing line for slide 13. Oracles make blockchains useful by linking digital contracts to real-world truth. Slide 14. Scalability challenges. The blockchain trilemma headline. Balancing security, decentralization, and speed. Visual ideas. A triangle diagram with the three corners labeled. Security, protecting the network. Decentralization, distributed control. Scalability, transactions per second. Highlight. Most blockchains achieve 2, struggle with the third. Visual contrast. Bitcoin, secure plus decentralized, low scalability, versus Solana, fast plus scalable, less decentralized. Key talking points. Presenter notes. The trilemma, coined by Vitalik but Aaron blockchains must trade off between 3 goals. Security, the ability to resist hacks, fraud, or manipulation. Decentralization, ensuring no single entity controls the network. Scalability, the ability to handle thousands or millions of transactions quickly. Realities today. Bitcoin and Ethereum. Strong security plus decentralization, but limited throughput. Newer chains emphasize speed but may compromise decentralization. Solutions emerging. Layer 2 scaling rollups, sharding, sidechains, hybrid consensus. Insight. No perfect solution yet. Innovation is ongoing. Closing line for slide 14. Every blockchain makes trade-offs. The future lies in solving the trilemma without compromise. Slide 17. Ethereum, smart contracts, and Web3 headline. From cryptocurrency to the world's computer. Visual ideas. Ethereum logo inside a glowing, decentralized web network. A block turning into apps, tokens, and NFTs. Comparison table. Bitcoin equals digital gold versus Ethereum equals programmable blockchain. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Launch 2015 by Vitalik Buterin and team. Core idea. Blockchain not just for money but for programmable agreements called smart contracts. Smart contracts. self-executing code that runs on the blockchain without intermediaries. Ethereum Virtual Machine, EVM, a world computer that lets developers build decentralized applications, dApps. Ecosystem impact. Birthplace of DeFi, lending, trading, staking. Enabled NFTs, digital art, collectibles, in-game assets. Foundation of DAOs, decentralized governance. Challenges. Scalability issues, 15 to 30 TPS. High gas fees during network congestion. Energy intensive until proof of stake upgrade. Upgrade path. Ethereum 2.0 merge 2022 shift from POS. Rollups, sharding, and layer 2 solutions improving speed and cost. Closing line for slide 17. Ethereum expanded blockchain from money to a new internet of trust, value, and programmable collaboration. Slide 15. Blockchain security risks headline. Even trustless systems have weak points. Visual ideas. A shield icon with cracks forming in it. Callout bubbles showing risks. 51% attack. Smart contract bugs, phishing, bridge hacks. Timeline of major exploits, e.g. the DAO 2016, Ronin Bridge 2022. Key talking points, presenter notes. 51% attacks. If a single entity controls most mining or staking power, they can manipulate transactions. Smart contract bugs. Code vulnerabilities can lock or drain millions in assets. DAO hack, DeFi exploits. Phishing and social engineering. Users remain the weakest link. Stolen keys means stolen funds. Bridge vulnerabilities. Cross-chain bridges are among the most frequently hacked points. Regulatory risks. Unclear rules can freeze or restrict blockchain activity. Core insight. Security is not only technical but also human and systemic. Closing line for slide 15. Blockchain is secure by design, but in practice, its safety depends on code, governance, and human behavior. Would you like me to roll into slide 16? Bitcoin, the first blockchain, starting section 3 on major platforms, or pause here to package slides 6 to 15 as a fundamentals mini deck for you. You said. Next, ChatGPT said. Great. Let's step into section 3. Major platforms. We'll start with Bitcoin, since it's the foundation. Slide 16. Bitcoin, the first blockchain headline. From digital cash experiment to $1 trillion asset. Visual ideas. Bitcoin logo over a gold coin fading into binary code. A timeline from 2008, white paper. 2009, Genesis block. Today. Price chart thumbnail showing rise from less than $1 to greater than $60,000. Key talking points, presenter notes. Origins. Launched in 2009 by the pseudonymous Satoshi Nakamoto. Goal. Create decentralized peer-to-peer money, independent of banks or governments. Innovation. Solve the double spend problem using proof-of-work consensus. Scarcity. Fixed supply of 21 million coins. Digital gold narrative. Adoption. Store of value for individuals and institutions. Legal tender in El Salvador, 2021. Traded globally on exchanges. Limitations. Slow, 7 transactions per second. High energy use due to mining. Not designed for complex applications beyond payments and transfers. Closing line for slide 16. Bitcoin proved blockchain could work and sparked a global movement. Slide 17. Ethereum, smart contracts, and Web3 headline. From cryptocurrency to the world's computer. Visual ideas. Ethereum logo inside a glowing decentralized web network. A block turning into apps, tokens, and NFTs. Comparison table. Bitcoin equals digital gold versus Ethereum equals programmable blockchain. Key talking points, presenter notes. Launch, 2015, by Vitalik Buterin and team. Core idea. Blockchain not just for money, but for programmable agreements called smart contracts. Smart contracts, self-executing code that runs on the blockchain without intermediaries. Ethereum Virtual Machine, EVM, a world computer that lets developers build decentralized applications, dApps. Ecosystem impact. Birthplace of DeFi, lending, trading, staking. Enabled NFTs, digital art, collectibles, in-game assets. Foundation of DAOs, decentralized governance. Challenges: scalability issues, 15 to 30 TPS. High gas fees during network congestion. Energy intensive until proof of stake upgrade. Upgrade path. Ethereum 2.0 merge 2022 shift from POS. Rollups, sharding, and layer 2 solutions improving speed and cost. Closing line for slide 17. Ethereum expanded blockchain from money to a new internet of trust, value, and programmable collaboration. Slide 18. Ethereum use cases, DeFi, NFTs, DOS headline. Why Ethereum became the hub of Web3. Visual ideas. 3 icons, bank with blockchain circuit, DeFi, digital artwork, NFTs, voting hand/DAO symbol. Flow chart showing ETH powering multiple applications. Key talking points, presenter notes. 1. DeFi, decentralized finance. Banking without banks. Lending, borrowing, yield farming, decentralized exchanges, Uniswap, Aave, Compound. Over $100 billion plus locked-in smart contracts at peak. Benefits: transparency, 24/7 global access, programmable money. 2. NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Verified ownership of digital assets, art, music, gaming, collectibles. Exploded in 2021 with artists, celebrities, brands joining. Utility beyond art, tickets, identity, intellectual property rights. 3. DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. Communities that govern themselves with tokens and smart contracts. Examples: MakerDAO, stablecoin governance. Investment DAOs, social DAOs. Company without a CEO model. Rules and code. Execution on-chain. 4. Ethereum as the hub. Largest developer community. Most active ecosystem for innovation. Backbone of the Web3 economy, despite scalability challenges. Closing line for slide 18. Ethereum unlocked financial freedom, creative ownership, and collective governance, the building blocks of a decentralized digital society. Slide 19. Ethereum challenges and competitors headline. The rise of alternative blockchains. Visual ideas. Side-by-side logos. Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain, Polkadot. Speedometer graphic comparing transactions per second, TPS. Fee meter showing Ethereum high versus competitors low. Key talking points, presenter notes. Ethereum's pain points. Scalability, 15-30 transactions per second versus 65,000 plus on newer chains. High fees. Gas costs often $20 to $200 during congestion. User experience. Complex onboarding and wallet management. Competitors emerging. Binance Smart Chain BSC. Lower fees. EVM compatible. Centralized validator set. Speed but less decentralization. Solana. Ultra-fast 50K plus TPS. Cheap transactions. Targeting DeFi and gaming. Struggled with network outages. Avalanche. High throughput. Eco-friendly consensus. Supports customizable subnets for different applications. Polkadot and Cosmos. Focus on interoperability, connecting multiple blockchains. Ecosystem of parachains and zones for custom scaling. Industry reality. No single chain wins. Multi-chain future is emerging. Ethereum still leads in developers, liquidity, and network effects, but challengers force innovation. Closing line for slide 19. Competition drives evolution. The blockchain ecosystem is expanding into a multi-chain world. Slide 19. Ethereum challenges and competitors headline. The rise of alternative blockchains. Visual ideas. Side-by-side logos. Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain, Polkadot. Speedometer graphic comparing transactions per second, TPS. Fee meter showing Ethereum high versus competitors low. Key talking points, presenter notes. Ethereum's pain points. Scalability, 15-30 transactions per second versus 65,000 plus on newer chains. High fees. Gas costs often $20 to $200 during congestion. User experience. Complex onboarding and wallet management. Competitors emerging. Binance Smart Chain BSC. Lower fees, EVM compatible. Centralized validator set, speed but less decentralization. Solana. Ultra-fast, 50K plus TPS, cheap transactions. Targeting DeFi and gaming. Struggled with network outages. Avalanche. High throughput, eco-friendly consensus. Supports customizable subnets for different applications. Polkad and Cosmos. Focus on interoperability, connecting multiple blockchains. Ecosystem of parachains and zones for custom scaling. Industry reality. No single chain wins. Multi-chain future is emerging. Ethereum still leads in developers, liquidity, and network effects, but challengers force innovation. Closing line for slide 19. Competition drives evolution. The blockchain ecosystem is expanding into a multi-chain world. Slide 20. Solana, speed and throughput headline. High-speed blockchain for Web3 applications. Visual ideas. Solana logo with lightning iconography. TPS chart comparing Solana, 50K TPS, versus Ethereum, 30 TPS. Illustration of apps. DeFi, NFTs, gaming. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Launch. 2020, founded by Anatoly Yakovenko. Core innovation. Proof of history, POE, combined with proof of stake, POS, ultra-fast block confirmation. Use cases. High-frequency trading in DeFi. NFT marketplaces and minting. Blockchain-based games with microtransactions. Advantages. Extremely low fees, $0.00025 per TX. High scalability for real-world applications. Challenges. Network outages due to congestion or validator coordination. Less decentralized compared to Ethereum. Closing line for slide 20. Solana shows that speed and scale are possible, but decentralization remains the balancing act. Slide 21. Binance Smart Chain, low fees and EVM compatibility headline. Bringing Ethereum-like functionality to the masses. Visual ideas. BSC logo with stacked coins and speed lines. Comparison. Ethereum versus BSC fees and TPS. Icon set. dApps, DeFi, NFTs. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Launch. 2020 by Binance. Built to be EVM compatible. Key features. Low transaction fees. $0.05. Fast block times 3 seconds. Compatible with Ethereum smart contracts. Easy porting of dApps. Use cases. DeFi platforms, PancakeSwap, Venus. NFT marketplaces and gaming. Advantages. Affordable for mass adoption. Seamless developer onboarding. Challenges. Centralized validator set, less secure than fully decentralized chains. Faces competition from other fast layer ones like Solana and Avalanche. Closing line for slide 21. BSC proves that lower fees and Ethereum compatibility can accelerate blockchain adoption, but at some cost to decentralization. Slide 22. Avalanche, customizable and scalable headline. Building fast, flexible, and eco-friendly blockchains. Visual ideas. Avalanche logo with interconnected subnetworks branching out. TPS and latency chart versus Ethereum/Solana. Illustration of enterprise plus DeFi plus NFT ecosystems on subnets. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Launch. 2020. Created by Ava Labs, Emin Gunsire. Core innovation. Avalanche consensus protocol, extremely fast finality, 1 second. Subnets. Customizable blockchains tailored for specific use cases or compliance requirements. Use cases. Enterprise blockchains with regulatory compliance. DeFi apps requiring high throughput. NFT platforms and gaming ecosystems. Advantages. High scalability plus low fees. Energy efficient and eco-friendly. Customizable governance for different applications. Challenges. Smaller developer community compared to Ethereum. Ecosystem still maturing. Adoption is growing, but not as widespread. Closing line for slide 22. Avalanche demonstrates that speed, sustainability, and customizability can coexist in next-gen blockchains. Slide 23. Polkadot, Interoperability and Parachains headline. Connecting blockchains for a unified ecosystem. Visual ideas. Polkadot logo with multiple chains, parachains, connected to a central relay chain. Diagrams showing cross-chain asset transfers and messaging. Icons. Governance, DeFi, NFTs, enterprise apps. Key talking points, presenter notes. Launch 2020, founded by Dr. Gavin Wood, co-founder of Ethereum. Core innovation, relay chain, main chain securing the network. Parachains, independent chains with specialized use cases, interoperable via the relay chain. Use cases, cross-chain DeFi and token transfers. Enterprise blockchain applications requiring interoperability. DAOs and governance structures spanning multiple chains. Advantages. Seamless interoperability, no isolated ecosystems. Flexible consensus via nominated proof-of-stake and NPAS. Scalable via multiple parallel parachains. Challenges. Complex architecture, higher technical barrier. Adoption dependent on parachain auctions and ecosystem growth. Closing line for slide 23. Polkadot is building the Internet of blockchains, enabling networks to work together instead of in silos. Slide 24. Layer 2 solutions, scaling Ethereum headline. Faster, cheaper, more scalable transactions. Visual ideas. Diagram. Ethereum layer 1 at the bottom, layer 2 rollups on top, user transactions flowing through. Icons for optimistic rollups, ZK rollups, state channels. Side-by-side TPS and fee comparison. L1 versus L2. Key talking points, presenter notes. Problem. Ethereum mainnet is congested, high gas fees, slow transactions. Layer 2 solution. Off-chain or partially off-chain systems that process transactions and report results to the main chain. Popular L2 approaches. Optimistic rollups. Assume transactions valid. Fraud proofs if challenged. ZK rollups. Zero knowledge. Aggregate many transactions. Submit a cryptographic proof. State channels. Participants transact off-chain. Only final state recorded on-chain. Benefits. Increased throughput, 1000s TPS. Lower fees. Maintain security anchored to Ethereum mainnet. Examples. Arbitrum, Optimism, ZK Sync. Closing line for slide 24. Layer 2 solutions unlock Ethereum's potential, making decentralized apps practical for the masses. Slide 25. DeFi overview, lending, borrowing, trading headline. Decentralized finance, banking without banks. Visual ideas. Infographic showing users lending/borrowing money directly via smart contracts. Icons, loan, collateral, interest, exchange arrows. Flow, user, smart contract, other users. Key talking points, presenter notes. Definition. DeFi uses blockchain and smart contracts to recreate traditional financial services without intermediaries. Core services. Lending and borrowing. Users lend crypto for interest or borrow against collateral. Decentralized exchanges, DEXs, peer-to-peer trading without centralized platforms. Stablecoins, blockchain-based digital currencies pegged to fiat. Yield farming and staking, earning returns via liquidity provision or token staking. Benefits. Global access, 24/7 availability. Lower fees compared to traditional finance. Transparent and auditable. Risks. Smart contract bugs, impermanent loss, market volatility. Regulatory uncertainty. Example platforms. Aave, Compound, Uniswap, MakerDAO. Closing line for slide 25. DeFi turns the traditional financial system upside down, giving power and profit back to the users. Slide 26. NFTs, digital ownership and collectibles headline. Unique assets on the blockchain. Visual ideas. Illustration of a digital art gallery with NFT images, music notes, and game items. Icons representing ownership, uniqueness, and verifiable scarcity. Flow, creator, mint, blockchain, collector. Key talking points, presenter notes. Definition: non-fungible tokens, NFTs, are unique digital assets verified on a blockchain. Core features: uniqueness. Each token has distinct metadata. Ownership: public, verifiable, transferable. Immutability: once minted, cannot be altered or duplicated. Use cases: digital art and collectibles, e.g., CryptoPunks, Bored Ape Yacht Club. Gaming items and virtual worlds, skins, land, equipment. Intellectual property, music rights, tickets. Identity and certification. Benefits: monetization for creators. Proof of authenticity. New digital economy opportunities. Risks: speculative bubbles. Environmental impact if minted on energy-intensive chains. Market volatility. Closing line for slide 26. NFTs redefine ownership in the digital age, creating verifiable scarcity for anything that can be tokenized. Slide 27. DAOs, decentralized governance headline. Organizations run by code, not CEOs. Visual ideas. Diagram of a DAO. Token holders voting on proposals, automated execution via smart contracts. Icons: ballot box, gavel, chain links, treasury vault. Flow: proposal, vote, smart contract executes. Key talking points, presenter notes. Definition: a decentralized autonomous organization, DAO, is a group governed by rules encoded in smart contracts rather than centralized management. Core features: token-based voting for decision-making, transparent treasury and spending, automatic execution of approved proposals. Use cases: investment DAOs pooling funds for startups or NFTs. Protocol governance for DeFi platforms, MakerDAO. Community-driven projects and social DAOs. Benefits: removes single points of failure or corruption. Global participation and inclusion. Fully transparent operations. Risks: governance attacks or vote manipulation. Smart contract bugs affecting treasury. Low voter participation can centralize power unintentionally. Closing line for slide 27. DAOs let communities govern themselves, turning blockchain into a tool for collaborative decision-making and collective ownership. Slide 28. Blockchain in enterprise, supply chain, identity, finance headline. How businesses are leveraging blockchain. Visual ideas. Flowchart showing blockchain tracking a product from manufacturer, distributor, retailers, consumer. Icons: factory, cargo truck, ID card, bank, ledger. Split screen: supply chain, identity, finance. Key talking points, presenter notes. Supply chain management. Transparent tracking of goods, verifying origin and authenticity. Reduces fraud and counterfeiting. Example: IBM Food Trust, Walmart blockchain. Identity and credentials. Digital ID verification without centralized authorities. Academic credentials, government IDs, KYC for finance. Example: Uport, Civic. Enterprise finance and payments. Cross-border payments with lower fees and faster settlement. Trade finance and auditing made transparent. Example: JP Morgan's Quorum, Ripple. Benefits: increased transparency and traceability. Reduced operational costs. Enhanced trust across stakeholders. Challenges: integration with legacy systems. Regulatory compliance. Data privacy concerns. Closing line for slide 28. Enterprise blockchain is transforming operations, enabling trust, efficiency, and accountability across industries. Slide 29. ESG and sustainable blockchain applications headline. Leveraging blockchain for a greener, transparent future. Visual ideas. Icons: leaf, carbon offset, water droplet, energy grid, blockchain nodes. Flow diagram showing blockchain tracking carbon credits or renewable energy certificates. Overlay of financial impact plus environmental metrics. Key talking points, presenter notes. Environmental tracking and carbon credits. Blockchain enables verified carbon offset transactions. Transparent reporting of emissions and sustainability metrics. Renewable energy markets. Peer-to-peer energy trading with blockchain-enabled smart meters. Incentivizes clean energy adoption and efficient grid management. Supply chain ESG verification. Certifying ethical sourcing and fair labor practices. Consumers can verify product origins and environmental impact. Decentralized impact finance. Funding ESG projects via tokenized investments. Ensures accountability and traceability of funds. Benefits. Transparency, immutability, and trust. Aligns financial incentives with sustainability goals. Encourages corporate accountability. Challenges. Data input still requires verification. Garbage in, garbage out. Regulatory and reporting standardization needed. Adoption and integration costs. Closing line for slide 29. Blockchain empowers a measurable, verifiable approach to ESG, turning sustainability into actionable, investable outcomes. Slide 30. Blockchain in healthcare and pharma headline. Secure, transparent, and efficient health systems. Visual ideas. Illustration of medical records flowing securely across hospitals, labs, and patients. Icons. Medical chart, pill, DNA strand, blockchain node. Flow. Patient, provider, research, payment, blockchain ledger. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Medical records and patient data. Secure storage and sharing with patient consent. Interoperable records across hospitals and clinics. Drug supply chain and anti-counterfeiting. Track pharmaceuticals from manufacturer, distributor, pharmacy. Reduce counterfeit drugs and ensure authenticity. Clinical trials and research. Transparent, immutable data collection. Faster regulatory compliance and auditing. Insurance and billing. Automated claims processing via smart contracts. Reduced fraud and administrative overhead. Benefits. Improved data integrity and patient privacy. Streamlined operations and cost reduction. Enhanced trust in healthcare systems. Challenges. Privacy regulations, HIPAA, GDPR. Integration with legacy systems. Data standardization across institutions. Closing line for slide 30. Blockchain in healthcare creates a secure, transparent, and patient-centric ecosystem, transforming care delivery and trust. Slide 31. Blockchain in gaming and metaverse headline. Powering play, ownership, and virtual economies. Visual ideas. Illustration of a player interacting with virtual items represented as NFTs. Icons, game controller, virtual land, token avatar. Flow. Player earns NFT minted marketplace trade. Key talking points. Presenter notes. In-game assets as NFTs. Players truly own skins, weapons, virtual land, and collectibles. Transferable across platforms depending on ecosystem. Play-to-earn models. Users earn cryptocurrency or NFTs for gameplay. Creates real-world financial incentives and economies. Virtual worlds and metaverse integration. Land parcels, avatars, and items are tokenized for interoperability. Blockchain ensures scarcity, provenance, and tradability. Benefits. Player ownership and economic empowerment. Transparent marketplaces, reduced fraud. New revenue streams for developers and creators. Challenges. Scalability for millions of players and transactions. Market volatility affecting in-game economies. User onboarding complexity, wallets, crypto understanding. Closing line for slide 31. Blockchain turns games into economies, where ownership, creativity, and earning power meet in the digital world. Slide 32. Tokenization of real assets, real estate, art, commodities headline. Bringing physical assets onto the blockchain. Visual ideas. Icons for buildings, paintings, gold bars, and commodities linked to blockchain nodes. Diagram. Asset, tokenized, fractional ownership, marketplace trade. Flow showing global investors accessing tokenized assets. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Definition. Tokenization converts ownership rights of real-world assets into digital tokens on a blockchain. Real estate. Fractional ownership allows smaller investors to participate. Transparent property history and deed verification. Art and collectibles. Digital proof of ownership for physical art. Enables fractional investment and liquidity in previously illiquid markets. Commodities and other assets. Gold, oil, or other commodities can be represented as tokens. Facilitates global trade, faster settlement, and fractional investment. Benefits. Liquidity for traditionally illiquid markets. Global access to investment opportunities. Transparent ownership and transfer history. Challenges. Regulatory compliance across jurisdictions. Legal frameworks for tokenized ownership. Valuation accuracy and fraud prevention. Closing line for slide 32. Tokenization bridges the physical and digital worlds, unlocking liquidity, accessibility, and transparency for real-world assets. Slide 33. Cross-chain and interoperability solutions headline. Connecting blockchains for seamless value transfer. Visual ideas. Diagrams showing multiple blockchains connected via bridges and relays. Icons, chain links, arrows moving tokens, data transfer symbols. Highlight major protocols. Polkadot, Cosmos, Wormhole, Layer 0. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem. Most blockchains operate in isolation. Assets and data are siloed. Solution. Cross-chain protocols and interoperability layers. Key methods. Bridges. Lock tokens on one chain, mint equivalent on another. Relay chains/hubs, central networks connecting multiple blockchains, Polkadot, Cosmos. Atomic swaps, peer-to-peer exchange without intermediaries. Benefits. Increased liquidity and accessibility across chains. Unified DeFi, NFT, and gaming ecosystems. Enhanced user experience without switching networks manually. Risks and challenges. Bridge security vulnerabilities. Complex architecture increasing potential for exploits. Standardization still evolving. Closing line for slide 33. Interoperability turns isolated blockchains into a connected ecosystem, unlocking true multi-chain potential. Slide 34. Blockchain analytics and Oracle's headline. Turning on-chain data into actionable insights. Visual ideas. Icons for charts, graphs, data streams feeding into smart contracts. Flow. External data Oracle, smart contract, automated action. Highlight Chainlink, band protocol, the graph for analytics. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Blockchain analytics. On-chain data tracking for transactions, wallets, and DeFi activity. Enables market insights, compliance, and risk management. Oracles. Bridges connecting blockchain to off-chain real-world data. Types. Price feeds, weather, IoT sensors, identity verification. Enables automated decision-making in smart contracts. Use cases. DeFi lending rates updated in real time. Insurance payouts triggered by verified events. Supply chain verification and IoT-enabled tracking. Benefits. Reliable, transparent, verifiable data integration. Reduces dependency on trust in centralized data providers. Enables sophisticated, real-world smart contract applications. Challenges. Oracle manipulation or single point of failure. Data quality depends on source integrity. Integration complexity for multiple chains. Closing line for slide 34. Analytics and Oracles transform blockchain from isolated ledgers into actionable, data-driven ecosystems. Slide 35. Security tokens and STOS headline. Tokenizing regulated investments for the blockchain era. Visual ideas. Icons for stock certificates, bonds, and tokenized equity. Flow. Traditional asset, tokenized, investor wallet, blockchain ledger. Comparison chart. Traditional securities versus security tokens. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Definition. Security token offerings, STOs, represent regulated financial assets on a blockchain. Types of assets tokenized. Equity shares and company ownership. Debt instruments and bonds. Real estate or other private assets. Benefits. Fractional ownership increases liquidity and accessibility. Global investor base without traditional intermediaries. Transparency and automated compliance via smart contracts. Use cases. Tokenized real estate funds. Venture capital equity tokens. Bond issuance on-chain. Challenges. regulatory compliance across jurisdictions, investor protection and KYC/AML requirements, adoption by traditional financial institutions. Closing line for slide 35. Security tokens bridge traditional finance and blockchain, creating liquid, transparent, and compliant investment opportunities. Slide 36. Stablecoins, bridging crypto and fiat headline. Stable value in a volatile crypto world. Visual ideas. Icons. $, blockchain nodes, tethered balance scale. Diagram. Fiat/asset, stablecoin blockchain transactions. Popular stablecoins, USDT, USDC, DAI, BUSD. Key talking points, presenter notes. Definition: cryptocurrencies pegged to stable assets like USD, Euro, or commodities. Purpose: reduce volatility for payments, trading, and DeFi applications. Facilitate cross-border transactions. Types: fiat collateralized, backed 1:1 by real currency reserves, USDT, USDC. Crypto collateralized, backed by other crypto with over-collateralization, DAI. Algorithmic, peg maintained via algorithms and smart contracts. Use cases: medium of exchange in DeFi protocols. Safe haven during market volatility. Payroll and remittances in crypto-enabled economies. Benefits: stability for crypto users and businesses. Easy integration into DeFi and global financial systems. Bridges traditional finance with blockchain. Challenges: regulatory scrutiny. Reserve transparency and auditability. Algorithmic peg failures can cause collapse. Closing line for slide 36. Stablecoins provide the reliability of fiat with the programmability of blockchain, enabling practical use of crypto in daily life. Do you want me to continue with slide 37? Decentralized exchanges, DEXs. Trading without middlemen. You said. Next, ChatGPT said. Perfect. Let's move into slide 37, focusing on decentralized exchanges, DEXs. Slide 37. Decentralized exchanges, DEXs. Trading without middlemen headline. Peer-to-peer trading in a trustless environment. Visual ideas. Icons. Two wallets connected by a smart contract. Token swap arrows. Flowchart. User A, smart contract, user B. Popular DEX examples: Uniswap, SushiSwap, PancakeSwap. Key talking points, presenter notes. Definition: platforms that allow users to trade cryptocurrencies directly from their wallets without intermediaries. Core features: smart contract-based trading. Liquidity pools supplied by users. Automated market makers, AMMs, instead of order books. Benefits: no need for centralized custody of funds, reduced counterparty risk. Accessible globally, 24/7. Low barrier to list new tokens. Use cases: token swaps for DeFi participation. Yield farming and liquidity provision incentives. Cross-chain trading via bridges and wrap tokens. Challenges: smart contract vulnerabilities can lead to hacks. Impermanent loss for liquidity providers. User experience can be complex compared to centralized exchanges. Closing line for slide 37. DEXs empower users with direct control over trading, fostering decentralization and global financial accessibility. Slide 37. Decentralized exchanges, DEXs. Trading without middlemen headline. Peer-to-peer trading in a trustless environment. Visual ideas. Icons. Two wallets connected by a smart contract. Token swap arrows. Flowchart. User A, smart contract, user B. Popular DEX examples: Uniswap, SushiSwap, PancakeSwap. Key talking points, presenter notes. Definition: platforms that allow users to trade cryptocurrencies directly from their wallets without intermediaries. Core features: smart contract-based trading. Liquidity pools supplied by users. Automated market makers, AMMs, instead of order books. Benefits: no need for centralized custody of funds, reduced counterparty risk. Accessible globally, 24/7. Low barrier to list new tokens. Use cases: token swaps for DeFi participation. Yield farming and liquidity provision incentives. Cross-chain trading via bridges and wrap tokens. Challenges. Smart contract vulnerabilities can lead to hacks. Impermanent loss for liquidity providers. User experience can be complex compared to centralized exchanges. Closing line for slide 37. DEXs empower users with direct control over trading, fostering decentralization and global financial accessibility. Slide 38. CEXs versus DEXs, choosing the right exchange headline. Centralized versus decentralized trading platforms. Visual ideas. Split screen table, CX on left, DX on right. Icons, bank building, CX, wallet plus smart contract, DX. Flow arrows showing funds custody and transaction paths. Key talking points, presenter notes. Centralized exchanges, CXs. Examples. Binance, Coinbase, Kraken. Custody of user funds and private keys. Pros. High liquidity and fast trades. User-friendly interface. Advanced trading features, margin, derivatives. Cons. Custodial risk. Potential hacks. Subject to regulations and KYC requirements. Decentralized exchanges, DEXs. Examples. Uniswap, SushiSwap, PancakeSwap. Non-custodial, trades executed via smart contracts. Pros. Users retain control of funds. Open listing of tokens. Global access, censorship-resistant. Cons. Lower liquidity for less popular tokens. Complex for beginners. Risk of smart contract exploits. Summary insight. CXs equals convenience, liquidity, speed. DEXs equals decentralization, user control, global access. Many traders use both depending on strategy and risk tolerance. Closing line for slide 38. Choosing between CEXs and DEXs depends on your priorities: security, control, liquidity, and accessibility. Slide 39. DeFi lending and borrowing platforms headline. Earning interest and borrowing without banks. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Lender deposits crypto, smart contract, borrower receives loan, interest paid back automatically. Icons. Piggy bank, wallet, smart contract, interest arrows. Highlight popular platforms. Aave, Compound, MakerDAO. Key talking points, presenter notes. Definition. Decentralized platforms allowing users to lend or borrow crypto using smart contracts. How it works. Lenders supply crypto to liquidity pools. Borrowers deposit collateral to secure loans. Interest rates algorithmically determined. Benefits. No intermediaries. Fully automated. 24/7 global access. Potentially higher yields than traditional banks. Risks. Smart contract vulnerabilities. Liquidation risk if collateral value drops. Market volatility affecting interest rates. Use cases. Crypto holders earning passive income. Borrowing for leverage or liquidity needs. Accessing loans without traditional credit checks. Closing line for slide 39. DeFi lending and borrowing platforms democratize finance, enabling anyone with crypto to participate in a global lending economy. Slide 40. Yield farming and liquidity mining headline. Maximizing returns in the decentralized economy. Visual ideas. Flowchart. User deposits tokens, liquidity pool burns rewards, interest plus tokens. Icons. Water droplets, yield. Token stacks, farming/plant imagery. Highlight popular platforms. Uniswap, SushiSwap, Curve, PancakeSwap. Key talking points, presenter notes. Definition. Users provide liquidity to DeFi protocols and earn rewards in return. How it works. Deposit crypto into liquidity pools. Protocol uses funds for trading or lending. Users earn transaction fees plus platform token incentives. Benefits. High potential returns compared to traditional finance. Encourages liquidity in decentralized markets. Opportunity to earn native protocol tokens. Risks. Impermanent loss when token prices fluctuate. Smart contract bugs or exploits. High volatility of reward tokens affecting overall ROI. Use cases. Crypto holders seeking passive income. Traders providing liquidity for DEX operations. Early adopters earning governance tokens in new protocols. Closing line for slide 40. Yield farming and liquidity mining turn participation into profit, fueling the growth and liquidity of the DeFi ecosystem. Slide 41. Staking and proof-of-stake networks headline. Earn rewards while securing the network. Visual ideas. Diagram. Users lock tokens, validators, block confirmation, rewards. Icons. Lock blockchain nodes, token rewards. Highlight major POS networks. Ethereum 2.0, Cardano, Polkadot, Solana. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Definition. Staking involves locking up cryptocurrency to support network operations, validate transactions, and secure proof-of-stake, POS, blockchains. How it works. Users delegate or stake tokens with validators. Validators confirm transactions and produce blocks. Stackers earn rewards proportional to their stake. Benefits. Passive income with relatively low effort. Supports network security and consensus. Lower energy consumption compared to proof-of-work networks. Risks. Slashing penalties for misbehaving validators. Token lockup periods reducing liquidity. Validator failure or network issues. Use cases. Individual investors earning rewards on holdings. Institutional staking pools providing network security. Governance participation on POS networks. Closing line for slide 41. Staking transforms crypto holdings into productive assets, aligning incentives between users and network security. Slide 42. Layer 2 adoption and scaling solutions headline. Expanding blockchain capacity without sacrificing security. Visual ideas. Diagram. Ethereum mainnet Layer 1 with Layer 2 solutions on top, rollups, channels. Icons. Speedometer, reduced fees, smart contracts. Highlight popular Layer 2s. Arbitrum, Optimism, ZK Sync. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem. High transaction fees and congestion on Layer 1 blockchains. Solution. Layer 2 protocols handle transactions off-chain or partially off-chain while leveraging Layer 1 security. Types of Layer 2 solutions. Optimistic rollups. Assume transactions valid. Fraud proofs if challenged. ZK rollups. Batch transactions with zero-knowledge proofs. State channels. Off-chain transactions with final settlement on-chain. Benefits. Faster transaction processing. Lower fees for users. Scalable infrastructure for DeFi, NFTs, and gaming. Challenges. User onboarding and wallet compatibility. Security risks if Layer 2 implementation is flawed. Bridging between Layer 2 and Layer 1 can be complex. Closing line for slide 42. Layer 2 solutions unlock blockchain's full potential, making decentralized applications faster, cheaper, and more accessible. Slide 43. Privacy and confidential transactions headline. Keeping transactions secure and private on a public ledger. Visual ideas. Icons. Shield, lock, mask transaction, blockchain nodes. Flowchart. User, privacy layer, blockchain, recipient. Highlight privacy protocols. Monero, Scash, Tornado Cash, Aztec. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem. Public blockchains reveal transaction details, potentially compromising privacy. Solutions. Confidential transactions. Hide transaction amounts. Zero-knowledge proofs. ZKPs verify transaction validity without revealing sensitive data. Mixers and privacy coins. Obfuscate transaction trails. Benefits. Protects user financial privacy. Enables confidential business and enterprise transactions. Regulatory compliance in some jurisdictions, with careful implementation. Challenges. Regulatory scrutiny regarding money laundering risks. Complexity and slower transaction processing in some protocols. Adoption balance between transparency and privacy. Closing line for slide 43. Privacy solutions empower users to transact securely and confidentially, balancing transparency with personal and business protection. Slide 44. Blockchain and Identity and Credentials headline. Decentralized digital identities for a trusted future. Visual ideas. Icons. ID card, Fingerprint blockchain nodes shield. Flowchart. User creates ID stored on blockchain, verified by service providers. Highlight protocols. UPort, Civic, Sovereign, Self-Key. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem. Centralized identity systems are prone to hacks, fraud, and misuse of personal data. Blockchain solution. Self-sovereign identity. Users control their own digital credentials. Verifiable credentials for education, finance, and healthcare. Immutable, tamper-proof storage on blockchain. Benefits. Enhanced security and privacy. Reduced identity fraud. Seamless verification for global services. Challenges. Adoption requires ecosystem-wide participation. Regulatory compliance across jurisdictions. User experience and education for mass adoption. Closing line for slide 44. Blockchain-based identity gives individuals control over their personal data, fostering trust and security in a digital world. Slide 45. Blockchain in supply chain and logistics headline. Transparent, traceable, and efficient supply chains. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Manufacturer, transport, warehouse, retails, consumer, all linked via blockchain. Icons. Shipping truck, factory, barcode, blockchain ledger. Highlight platforms. IBM Food Trust, VeChain, Origin Trail. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem. Traditional supply chains lack transparency and are prone to fraud or inefficiency. Blockchain solution. Immutable records for every step of production and shipment. Real-time tracking of goods and assets. Verification of origin, authenticity, and compliance. Benefits. Increased consumer trust with verifiable provenance. Reduced fraud, counterfeiting, and errors. Improved efficiency and accountability. Challenges. Integration with legacy supply chain systems. Data input accuracy is critical. Garbage in, garbage out. High initial implementation costs. Closing line for slide 45. Blockchain transforms supply chains into transparent, efficient, and trustworthy networks, benefiting businesses and consumers alike. Slide 46. Blockchain in energy and sustainability headline. Tracking, trading, and incentivizing clean energy. Visual ideas. Icons. Solar panels, wind turbines, lightning bolt, blockchain nodes. Flowchart. Renewable energy production, tokenized credits, consumers/markets. Highlight platforms. Power Ledger, Energy Web Foundation, WePower. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem. Energy markets often lack transparency, efficiency, and incentives for clean energy adoption. Blockchain solution. Peer-to-peer energy trading using tokenized energy credits. Verification of renewable energy generation and carbon offsets. Smart contracts automate settlements and incentives. Benefits. Encourages renewable energy adoption. Transparent carbon tracking and trading. Reduces intermediaries and transaction costs. Challenges. Regulatory and grid integration. Scalability for high-volume energy trading. Standardization of carbon and energy tokens. Closing line for slide 46. Blockchain enables transparent, efficient, and incentivized energy systems, driving sustainability and environmental accountability. Slide 47. Blockchain in insurance headline. Automating claims and enhancing trust. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Policyholder, smart contract, verification, automated payout. Icons. Shield, document, blockchain node. Automated checkmark. Highlight platforms. Etherisk, B3I, Lemonade, blockchain integrated solutions. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem. Traditional insurance involves lengthy processes, fraud risk, and high administrative costs. Blockchain solution. Smart contracts automate claims processing and payouts. Immutable records prevent fraud and disputes. Peer-to-peer insurance models for efficiency. Benefits. Faster claims resolution. Reduced administrative costs. Increased transparency and trust. Challenges. Integration with existing insurance systems. Legal recognition of smart contracts. Data privacy and regulatory compliance. Closing line for slide 47. Blockchain streamlines insurance, reducing friction and creating a transparent, efficient, and trustworthy system. Slide 48. Blockchain in real estate headline. Tokenizing property and streamlining transactions. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Property, tokenization, fractional ownership, marketplace trading. Icons. Building, deed, token, smart contract, wallet. Highlight platforms. Propy, Realty, Harbor. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem. Traditional real estate is illiquid, slow, and involves heavy paperwork. Blockchain solution. Tokenization enables fractional ownership and global access. Smart contracts automate transfers, payments, and title verification. Immutable records prevent fraud and simplify compliance. Benefits. Liquidity for previously illiquid assets. Faster, cheaper, and more transparent transactions. Global investor access without intermediaries. Challenges. Legal and regulatory frameworks vary by country. Adoption by traditional real estate stakeholders. Valuation accuracy and trust in tokenized assets. Closing line for slide 48. Blockchain transforms real estate into a liquid, transparent, and accessible market for investors worldwide. Slide 49. Blockchain in voting and governance headline. Secure, transparent, and trustworthy decision-making. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Voter, blockchain, immutable ledger, results. Icons. Ballot box, checkmark, blockchain node, shield. Highlight projects. Horizon state, votes, follow my vote. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem. Traditional voting systems are vulnerable to fraud, tampering, and lack transparency. Blockchain solution. Immutable, tamper-proof recording of votes. Transparent verification for voters and auditors. Smart contracts automate vote counting and result publishing. Benefits. Increased voter trust and engagement. Reduced fraud and human error. Faster, auditable results. Challenges. Ensuring voter privacy while maintaining transparency. Digital divide and accessibility. Regulatory and legal recognition. Closing line for slide 49. Blockchain enables secure, transparent, and auditable governance, empowering citizens and organizations alike. Do you want me to continue with slide 50? Blockchain in media and intellectual property, covering content ownership and royalty tracking? Slide 50. Blockchain in media and intellectual property headline. Protecting creators and tracking content ownership. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Creator, tokenized IP, blockchain ledger, monetization/licensed consumer. Icons. Music note, video camera, NFT token, copyright shield. Highlight platforms. Audius, Yujo Music, Verisart, po.et. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem. Traditional content distribution often leads to copyright infringement and delayed royalties. Blockchain solution. Tokenized ownership of digital assets. NFTs, copyrights. Transparent royalty tracking and automated payouts via smart contracts. Immutable record of creation, ownership, and licensing. Benefits. Protects creators' rights and revenue streams. Reduces piracy and unauthorized distribution. Enables direct monetization and fractional ownership of media assets. Challenges. Adoption across major platforms and industries. Legal recognition of tokenized IP rights. Balancing accessibility with copyright protection. Closing line for slide 50. Blockchain empowers creators by securing ownership, automating royalties, and enabling a transparent, fair digital media ecosystem. Do you want me to continue with slide 51? Blockchain in education and credentialing, covering verified learning and certificates? You said. Next, ChatGPT said. Perfect. Let's move into slide 51, focusing on blockchain in education and credentialing. Slide 51. Blockchain in education and credentialing headline. Verified learning and lifelong credentials. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Student, credential, blockchain ledger, employer/institution verification. Icons, graduation cap, diploma, blockchain node, checkmark. Highlight platforms, learning machine, accreditable, block certs. Key talking points, presenter notes. Problem: traditional academic credentials are vulnerable to fraud and difficult to verify. Blockchain solution: issuance of tamper-proof diplomas and certificates. Instant verification by employers or institutions. Lifelong tracking of learning achievements. Benefits: reduces resume and credential fraud. Streamlines hiring and admissions processes. Supports micro-credentials and lifelong learning initiatives. Challenges: adoption across educational institutions. Standardization of credential formats. Integration with existing administrative systems. Closing line for slide 51. Blockchain ensures trust, verification, and lifelong tracking of education credentials, empowering students and employers alike. Slide 51. Blockchain in education and credentialing headline. Verified learning and lifelong credentials. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Student, credential, blockchain ledger, employer/institution verification. Icons, graduation cap, diploma, blockchain node, checkmark. Highlight platforms, learning machine, accreditable, block certs. Key talking points, presenter notes. Problem: traditional academic credentials are vulnerable to fraud and difficult to verify. Blockchain solution: issuance of tamper-proof diplomas and certificates. Instant verification by employers or institutions. Lifelong tracking of learning achievements. Benefits: reduces resume and credential fraud. Streamlines hiring and admissions processes. Supports micro-credentials and lifelong learning initiatives. Challenges: adoption across educational institutions. Standardization of credential formats. Integration with existing administrative systems. Closing line for slide 51. Blockchain ensures trust, verification, and lifelong tracking of education credentials, empowering students and employers alike. Slide 52. Blockchain in charitable giving and philanthropy headline. Transparent, traceable, and impactful donations. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Donor, blockchain ledger, charity, tracking of impact. Icons, heart, donation box, blockchain node, checkmark. Highlight platforms, GiveTrack, Alice, Binance Charity, Giveth. Key talking points, presenter notes. Problem: traditional charitable donations often lack transparency, leading to mismanagement or fraud. Blockchain solution: immutable ledger for tracking donations from source to beneficiary. Smart contracts automate disbursements and conditional funding. Donors can verify real impact through transparent reporting. Benefits: increased donor trust and accountability. Reduced administrative overhead and intermediaries. Enables microdonations and global participation. Challenges: regulatory compliance for cross-border donations. Education and adoption for donors and charities. Integration with existing financial systems. Closing line for slide 52. Blockchain brings transparency and trust to philanthropy, ensuring every donation reaches its intended impact. Slide 53. Blockchain in agriculture and food security headline. Enhancing traceability, efficiency, and sustainability in food systems. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Farm, supply chain, retails, consumer, all tracked on blockchain. Icons, tractor, crop, barn, blockchain ledger, checkmark. Highlight platforms, agri-digital, tea, food, grain chain. Key talking points, presenter notes. Problem: food supply chains face inefficiencies, lack of transparency, and food fraud. Blockchain solution: track crop production, harvest, and distribution on an immutable ledger. Verify quality, origin, and safety standards. Enables smart contracts for payments and supply chain automation. Benefits: reduces fraud and counterfeiting of food products. Increases efficiency and accountability. Supports sustainability and fair trade practices. Challenges: integration with existing farm and supply chain systems. Ensuring data accuracy at the input stage. Adoption by small-scale farmers and producers. Closing line for slide 53. Blockchain empowers agriculture with transparency, efficiency, and sustainability, securing the food supply chain from farm to table. Slide 54. Blockchain in transportation and mobility headline. Optimizing logistics, ride-sharing, and autonomous mobility. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Vehicle/shipment, blockchain tracking, payment/verification, user/consumer. Icons. Truck, car, GPS, blockchain ledger, smart contract. Highlight platforms. V-Chain Logistics, DAV Network, Autonomous Vehicles, CargoX. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem. Traditional transportation systems face inefficiencies, fraud, and lack of real-time tracking. Blockchain solution. Immutable tracking of shipments, routes, and vehicle usage. Smart contracts automate payments for freight, ride-sharing, or tolls. Tokenized incentives for energy-efficient or autonomous mobility. Benefits. Increased efficiency and transparency. Reduced fraud and administrative overhead. Supports innovation in autonomous and shared mobility. Challenges. Integration with existing transportation infrastructure. Scalability for global logistics networks. Standardization across multiple operators and jurisdictions. Closing line for slide 54. Blockchain transforms transportation and mobility into transparent, efficient, and trustable systems for goods and people. Slide 55. Blockchain in healthcare headline. Securing patient data and streamlining healthcare systems. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Patient health record blockchain, doctor/provider, insurance/research. Icons. Medical cross, shield, blockchain node, health record, stethoscope. Highlight platforms. Medical chain, guard time, patientry. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem. Healthcare data is fragmented, vulnerable to breaches, and often inefficiently shared. Blockchain solution. Secure, tamper-proof storage of medical records. Patient-controlled access and consent for data sharing. Track drug supply chains to prevent counterfeit medications. Benefits. Enhanced patient privacy and data security. Streamlined administrative processes and record sharing. Improved trust and verification in medical supply chains. Challenges. Integration with legacy healthcare systems. Compliance with regulations like HIPAA and GDPR. Data input accuracy and interoperability across institutions. Closing line for slide 55. Blockchain strengthens healthcare by securing data, improving efficiency, and ensuring patient trust across the system. Slide 56. Blockchain in gaming and virtual worlds headline. Empowering players, ownership, and play-to-earn economies. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Player NFT/asset, blockchain, marketplace/metaverse. Icons. Game controller, NFT token, avatar. Virtual world, smart contract. Highlight platforms. Axie Infinity, Decentraland, The Sandbox, and Gene. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem. Traditional gaming often lacks true ownership and transparency for digital assets. Blockchain solution. NFTs represent in-game items, skins, and assets. Play-to-earn models allow players to monetize gameplay. Virtual worlds with tokenized land and economies. Benefits. Players own and trade assets securely. New revenue models for gamers and developers. Transparent economies in virtual environments. Challenges. Scalability and high transaction fees on popular blockchains. Market volatility of in-game tokens. Balancing fun gameplay with monetization. Closing line for slide 56. Blockchain transforms gaming into a player-owned economy, unlocking true digital asset ownership and global virtual markets. Slide 57. Blockchain in art and collectibles headline. Provenance, ownership, and monetization for digital and physical art. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Artist, NFT/tokened blockchain, collector/marketplace. Icons. Paintbrush, NFT token, gallery, blockchain ledger. Highlight platforms. OpenSea, Rarible, Super Rare, Artery. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem: art and collectibles face fraud, provenance disputes, and limited liquidity. Blockchain solution: immutable record of ownership and provenance. Tokenization of physical and digital art assets. Automated royalty payments via smart contracts. Benefits: secure and transparent ownership. Global marketplaces and liquidity for artists and collectors. Recurring royalties and fair compensation for creators. Challenges: adoption by traditional art institutions. Valuation of tokenized assets. Environmental concerns with blockchain energy usage for some chains. Closing line for slide 57. Blockchain empowers artists and collectors by ensuring authenticity, ownership, and fair monetization in the digital and physical art world. Slide 58. Blockchain in government services headline. Transparent, efficient, and accountable public administration. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Citizen government service, blockchain verification outcome. Icons. Government building, ID card, blockchain node, checkmark. Highlight use cases. Land registry, tax collection, social benefits tracking, Estonia e-government. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem: traditional government systems face inefficiency, corruption, and lack of transparency. Blockchain solution: immutable records for land, licenses, and public services. Automated verification and distribution of social benefits via smart contracts. Transparent voting, taxation, and reporting systems. Benefits: increased trust and accountability. Reduced bureaucracy and administrative overhead. Improved service delivery to citizens. Challenges: integration with legacy government systems. Regulatory and legal frameworks. Ensuring security and privacy of citizen data. Closing line for slide 58. Blockchain enables governments to provide transparent, efficient, and trustworthy services for citizens. Slide 59. Blockchain in ESG and impact investing headline. Transparent, measurable, and accountable sustainable investments. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Investor, ESG project, blockchain, verified impact, returns. Icons. Leaf, globe, graph, blockchain ledger, checkmark. Highlight platforms. KlimaDAO, Poseidon Foundation, Vera, impact tokens. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Problem: traditional ESG and impact investments often lack transparency, accountability, and verifiable outcomes. Blockchain solution: immutable tracking of environmental and social impact. Tokenization of carbon credits, sustainability bonds, and projects. Smart contracts enforce reporting and performance metrics. Benefits: measurable and auditable impact for investors. Increased trust and credibility in ESG initiatives. Efficient capital allocation to sustainable projects. Challenges: standardization of impact metrics. Adoption by corporates and governments. Integration with traditional financial reporting systems. Closing line for slide 59. Blockchain brings transparency and accountability to ESG investing, aligning financial returns with measurable social and environmental impact. Slide 60. Risks, security, and regulatory considerations headline. Navigating challenges to ensure safe and compliant blockchain use. Visual ideas. Icons. Shield, warning triangle, gavel, blockchain nodes. Diagram. Risks, mitigation, compliance, secure operations. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Risks in blockchain. Smart contract vulnerabilities and exploits. Market volatility and liquidity risks. Privacy concerns and potential data leaks. Security measures. Auditing smart contracts and protocols. Multi-signature wallets and hardware storage. Continuous monitoring and threat assessment. Regulatory considerations. Compliance with KYC/AML regulations. Tax obligations for transactions and token holdings. Adapting to evolving international blockchain laws. Benefits of risk management. Protects investors, users, and enterprises. Builds trust and credibility in blockchain projects. Enables sustainable growth of blockchain ecosystems. Closing line for slide 60. Understanding risks, implementing strong security, and staying compliant are key to unlocking blockchain's full potential safely. Slide 61. Future trends in blockchain headline. Emerging innovations and the next wave of adoption. Visual ideas. Icons. Rocket, AI brain, IoT devices, globe, blockchain nodes. Timeline or roadmap showing trends over the next 5 to 10 years. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Interoperability and cross-chain solutions. Seamless interaction between different blockchains. Reduces fragmentation and expands network effects. Integration with AI and IoT. Smart devices executing autonomous transactions. AI-driven smart contracts and predictive analytics. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. National digital currencies using blockchain for efficiency and traceability. Decentralized identity and privacy enhancements. Self-sovereign identity adoption. Enhanced privacy-preserving protocols. NFT evolution beyond art. Tokenizing real-world assets like property, intellectual property, and experiences. Sustainability and green blockchain initiatives. Energy-efficient consensus mechanisms. Blockchain supporting ESG and carbon tracking. Closing line for slide 61. Blockchain's future combines scalability, interoperability, and integration with emerging technologies to reshape finance, governance, and society. Slide 62. Key takeaways and strategic insights headline. Understanding blockchain's ecosystem for strategic advantage. Visual ideas. Icons. Lightbulb. Checklist. Strategy map. Blockchain nodes. Diagram. Core blockchain sectors. DeFi, NFTs, enterprise, ESG, identity with key insights. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Blockchain is multi-sectoral. Impacts finance, supply chain, governance, healthcare, energy, gaming, and more. Decentralization drives efficiency and trust. Reduced intermediaries, transparent processes, and immutable records. Innovation requires risk management. Security, compliance, and regulatory awareness are critical for adoption. Integration is key. Layer 2 solutions, interoperability, and AI/IoT integration enhance scalability and utility. ESG and impact potential. Blockchain enables measurable sustainability, transparency, and accountability. Strategic opportunity. Early adoption and ecosystem participation can unlock competitive advantages and new revenue streams. Closing line for slide 62. Blockchain is more than technology. It's a strategic ecosystem shaping the future of finance, governance, business, and society. Slide 63. Call to action and implementation strategy headline. From insight to action. Adopting blockchain strategically. Visual ideas. Flowchart. Assess, plan, implement, monitor, scale. Icons. Target, checklist, gears, blockchain nodes, upward arrow. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Assess opportunities. Identify areas in your organization or sector where blockchain can add value. Develop a strategic roadmap. Set clear goals, timelines, and resource allocation. Pilot projects. Start with small-scale initiatives to test feasibility and ROI. Integration and scaling. Connect blockchain solutions with existing systems and processes. Consider interoperability and regulatory compliance. Continuous monitoring and improvement. Track outcomes, security, and user adoption. Iterate based on results and emerging trends. Collaboration and ecosystem participation. Engage with industry consortia, developers, and blockchain networks for knowledge and resource sharing. Closing line for slide 63. Strategic adoption, careful planning, and continuous innovation are the keys to unlocking blockchain's transformative potential. Slide 64. Resources and references headline. Tools, platforms, and knowledge hubs for blockchain mastery. Visual ideas. Icons. Book, laptop, globe, blockchain nodes. Grid or list layout highlighting categories of resources. Key talking points. Presenter notes. Learning platforms and courses. Coursera, Udemy, MIT Digital Currency Initiative, Blockchain Council. Blockchain networks and tools. Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Polkit, Hyperledger. Wallets, MetaMask, Ledger, Trezor. DeFi platforms, Uniswap, Aave, Compound. News and industry insights. CoinDesk, The Block, Decrypt, Messari. Regulatory and standards bodies. ISO TC 307, Blockchain Standards, World Economic Forum Blockchain Initiatives, National Regulators. Developer resources. GitHub repositories, developer documentation, smart contract libraries. Closing line for slide 64. Leverage these resources to stay informed, build expertise, and engage effectively in the blockchain ecosystem. Slide 65. Closing remarks and vision headline. Blockchain today, tomorrow, and beyond. Visual ideas. Futuristic city or network visual representing a connected blockchain ecosystem. Icons, globe, nodes, innovation, growth arrow, light bulb. Optional inspirational quote about technology, trust, or the future. Key talking points, presenter notes. Blockchain as a transformative force. Beyond cryptocurrency, blockchain enables transparency, efficiency, and trust across industries. Strategic integration is essential. Organizations that plan, pilot, and scale blockchain solutions will unlock competitive advantages. Collaboration and innovation drive the future. Ecosystem participation and partnerships accelerate adoption and new opportunities. Vision for the future. A decentralized, secure, and interconnected world where blockchain empowers individuals, businesses, and societies. Closing line for slide 65. Embrace blockchain not just as technology, but as a strategic ecosystem shaping the future of business, governance, and society, today and for generations to come.